सिंहमुमापतिं सुरगुरुं वन्दे जगत्कारणं वन्दे पन्नगभूषणं शशिधरं वन्दे पशूनां पतिं वन्दे सूर्यशशाङ्कवह्निनयनं वन्दे मुकुन्दप्रियं वन्दे भक्तजन आश्रयं च वरदं वन्दे भक्तजन आश्रयं च वरदं वन्दे शिवं शङ्करं. Friends, yoga is to be decisive. Yoga is to be free from all doubt. Yoga is to be free from all dilemma, confusion. Yoga is to be determined. Yoga is to be confident. Yoga is to be strong. Yoga is to be firm. No indecisive nature. Arjun, as soon as he arrived on the battlefield, he has suddenly become despondent. He is depressed. He is dejected. The reason he is in a state of dilemma, it is indecisive nature that has brought depression. Is it right? He was all enthusiasm before he arrived on the battlefield. He was determined to kill his enemies. He was determined to take the examination. He was determined to face the problems of life. He was determined to appear for the interview. He was determined to do everything that was needed to conquer the enemies. But on the arrival, suddenly a new doubt crept into his mind. Is it right? Now, the strong Arjun suddenly became weak. The confident person suddenly became diffident. The enthusiastic young man became suddenly sorrowful. He is doubtful. This happens in our lives. The boy has prepared for the examination very well. And at about 10 o'clock the examination commences. By about 9:45 there is nervousness. There is a sort of fever, frenzy, dilemma, confusion, depression, dejection, all just before entering the examination hall. About half an hour ago he was very confident, very strong, having fully prepared for the examination. In the UPSC they are conducting the interview. He has cleared the prelims. He has passed the mains. He is invited for a personal interview by the Union Public Service Commission. The boy is to face the selection board, and there at the threshold there is a Freudian slip. His tongue gets parched. He gets confused, seeing 9 members of the UPSC board sitting in front of them, the chairman like Yama in the middle, and all the other 9 planets are seen there. Shani is also seen there. And the moment the 9 planet-like members interviewing him appear before him, he suddenly becomes weak. He has loved the girl, wooed the girl for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, continuously received chappal after chappal on the left cheek and right cheek. Ultimately, when the girl says, "Yes, I love you, I marry you," he gets confused. What is this that has crept into the mind at the 11th hour? The boy is very well prepared for the lecture on the platform. He has memorized his speech. After all, they are all his friends sitting in front of him. His own friends, his own relatives, his own teachers, and there is not even a single face unknown to him, having prepared himself for the wonderful lecture to be delivered on the platform. The moment he goes to the stage, when he stands before the mic, he loses all enthusiasm. Suddenly he becomes nervous and he does not feel the sufficient strength to speak. It's a life situation. Arjuna has that life situation. Arjuna is not a particular character in the Mahabharata. Arjuna is every young man or woman facing the problems of life, facing various situations in life. We are all very well prepared. There is nothing wrong in our psychic abilities. There is nothing wrong in our intellectual abilities. There is nothing wrong with our physical strength. All the three levels of strength we have at the physical, psychic and the intellectual, but still we are unable to face the problem. There is something mysteriously creeping into our body, mind, intellect equipment. We lose that confidence and we are unable to decide what is to be done, whether it can be done. Having arrived, the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is nothing but the problem that is to be faced by the people in the world. Taking Arjuna as a character, Vyasa Maharshi describes the psychic setup of an individual when he accosts the problems in life. Various types of problems, physical problems we have, emotional problems we have, intellectual problems we have, spiritual problems we have. And everything is not an insurmountable problem. They are not problems which we cannot overcome. We are very well aware of the problems before we accost them. Don't we know about the girls? Don't we know about the boys? Don't we know about the syllabus? Don't we know about the examination and the interview board? We know it very, very well. But when the actual situation springs up, when we face the situation, we become suddenly despondent. And now Arjuna says, is it right to kill? Ahimsa paramo dharmaha, people say, and non-violence is the best policy. War is nothing but violence. It's nothing but a crime. It's nothing but killing. It's nothing but killing my own people. Is it right? This is one doubt. At a higher intellectual level, you have the dilemma whether it is right to do it or not. Whether it is right to take the examination. If I take the examination, if I pass in the examination, if I get the job in the examination, there may be more needy people who may not get the job if I grab it. There may be another person who is deprived of it, but perhaps he needs it more. Is it right to deprive somebody of the job if I get selected? It's a broader thinking. If I take food, I am depriving somebody of the food. Why can't I reduce the food? Why can't I fast? During the Prime Ministership of Lal Bahadur Shastri, there was a proposal and he implemented it. Every Monday, the entire country should fast to save food. Though you have the food, don't eat on Mondays. Observe fast. All the crores of people all over the country, if they observe that fasting, the food saved will be enormous. It can be used for so many other people. Is it not right to observe fasting? Is it not right to withdraw from the fighting? This is a broader outlook. Arjuna, on account of his cultural outlook, broader outlook, has developed this thought, should I kill them? Is it right to kill them? Is it right to deprive somebody of the food and life? Ahimsa paramo dharmaha, on one side you speak, and Krishna, you ask me to fight, is it right? This is one doubt. This is a noble doubt. There are other doubts. The other doubts are, what is the benefit I get if I marry this girl? We think from our side, we don't think from other's side. A cultured person thinks from the other's side. A selfish person thinks from his side. If I fight, what is the benefit I get? After all, my elder brother Yudhishthira becomes the king. Why should I fight and give the kingdom to him? I work hard. I make all the preparations. The credit goes to somebody else. Why should I allow Yudhishthira to become the king at my cost? I will kill so many people. I am the real captain or the major general. I will face the brunt of attack. I will do everything, and the credit goes to Yudhishthira. He takes the kingdom, he takes the throne, he takes the crown. Why should I work for him? What is the benefit I get? This is an ordinary man's thinking. This Arjuna does not have. We ordinary people, what is the benefit I get if I attend YIC? Can I become more handsome? Can I become more agile, more active, more brisk, more dynamic? Will my hair become black once again without going to Godrej? This is the thinking I have. What is the benefit if I go to Prashant Kutir? There is yet another doubt. Okay, I shall do everything. Even if there is benefit for me, is it worth taking the trouble for 30 days? 30 days of yoga instructor's course if I participate in, my belly may reduce a little, half an inch, my weight may come down by half a kilo, 30 days of fasting, 30 days of doing exercise for the benefit of half a kilo reduction and half inch reduction, is it worth the trouble? This is the third one. That means I am lazy. So, 3 types of doubts. First doubt pertaining to larger outlook, broader outlook, whether it is beneficial to others. That's Arjuna's thinking. Whether it is useful to others. When I kill, is it not that I am making many widows, orphans? Is it for the welfare of the society that I make a war? So many widows there will be, so many orphans there will be, therefore it is not right. That is the cultured way of thinking from Arjuna. Ordinary people, what is the benefit I get if I fight? What is the benefit if I get when I do this exercise? What is the benefit I get if I marry this girl? The third thinking, yes, I will get the benefit, but at what cost? What is the cost involved? Cost accounts. Is it worth the trouble? If I take the trouble of doing the exercises for 30 days, if the benefit is this much, is it worth it? Laziness. All the 3 types of doubts are shattered when once you become a yogi. A yogi is unselfish. Therefore, selfish thinking does not enter into the mind of a cultured person. 2. A yogi is never an escapist. Yogi is never lethargic. He does not have the laziness. He is always brisk, up and doing. Therefore, that question of running away from the battlefield does not arise. Arjuna is active, agile. Third one, is it not misplaced mercy? If I spare these people, that means I am allowing the crime to continue. Karna has laughed at an innocent woman. He heckled at Draupadi Devi. Having married 5 husbands, how can you call yourself a pativrata? You can have any number of husbands more. When the girl was dragged into the public court hall to be disrobed, Karna, instead of showering pity, instead of having sympathy for the unprotected girl, he made fun of her, he looked at her, he laughed at her, and he called her names. Should not that fellow be taught a lesson? Should he be shown any mercy? that Duryodhan, the man showed his thigh, asking Draupadi to come and occupy his seat, to sit by his side on his thigh. Vulgar fellow, indecent idiot, should he be shown any consideration? Should I shower compassion on him? The entire study period he never attended a single class. He was always making fun of the teachers. He does not have any respect for the syllabus. And when he is stopped from taking the examination, hundreds of recommendations. Poor fellow, sir. Save him, sir. Permit him, sir. Just half a few marks, sir. If you put, he will pass, sir. Is it not a misplaced mercy? Does he deserve to be protected? Does he deserve to be excused? What happened to your mercy when he committed the crime? Duryodhana, Karna, Dushasana, Shakuni, all these Dusta, Chetustaya, they have been criminals, hardcore criminals. When they were committing the theft, when they were committing the dacoity, when they were committing the crimes, when they were committing the murders, we were very, very just-minded. We wanted to give the punishment. When the punishment was to be executed, when the man was to be taken to the gallows to be hanged, poor man excused himself. Is it not a misplaced mercy? Yogis are compassionate, but not unnecessarily to promote the crime. Sri Krishna in the entire Bhagavad Gita analyzes problem after problem. Arjuna, you are strong. You are born in the lineage of Kshatriyas, duty-conscious people, committed to the cause, and you are agile, dynamic, brisk, and you are never selfish, and you have been just. Should you develop that attitude of misplaced mercy now? When he analyzed in the 17 chapters, point after point, that it was the duty of Arjuna to do justice, at the end Arjuna says, thank you, my dear Krishna, sthitosmi gata sandeha. Gata means gone, sandeha, doubt is gone. Sthitosmi, now I am established, I am very firm in my decision, I am now determined to do justice. Come what may, whatever happens, I am not prepared to withdraw from the battlefield. I am confident, I am strong, I am convinced, I am firm. I will do what is to be done. Sishyasteham swadhyamam tvam prapannam, he said at the beginning, and now he says, Karishye vachanam tava. I am after all an instrument doing the justice as per the dictates of consciousness, and that is Krishna. Every individual moves from doubt to doubtlessness, indecisive nature to decisive nature, from a sort of confusion to clarity. The entire Bhagavad Gita is to make man strong, decisive, confident at all the levels, physical, emotional, intellectual and spiritual levels. Let us apply our minds to the Gita. Let us surrender our heads at the feet of the Lord Sri Krishna. Let's meditate on Krishna for more clarity. Saturday.